Welcome to English Mystery Channel, where we make learning English fun and easy through mystery stories. Aisha's journey to self-belief. In a small, quiet village nestled between rolling hills and lush green fields, lived a young girl named Aisha. The village, though picturesque, was far removed from the bustling cities where opportunities flourished. Aisha's world was simple. She helped her mother with household chores, tended to the family's small garden, and spent her afternoons playing with her younger siblings. But deep within her heart, Aisha nurtured a dream that was as vast as the sky above her. She wanted to speak English fluently. Aisha had always been fascinated by the English language. She had seen it in the newspapers her father occasionally brought back from the town market, heard it in the songs that sometimes played on the old radio, and watched it in the rare television shows that aired in the village. To Aisha, English was a gateway to a world beyond her village, a world full of possibilities and adventures. However, in her village, where education was limited and few people spoke English, Aisha's dream seemed almost impossible. Her family was loving and supportive, but they had little to offer in terms of resources for learning English. The village school, though dedicated, had only one teacher who taught all subjects, and English was not a priority. The few English words Aisha knew, she had learned from an old, tattered textbook that she had found in a pile of discarded books at the village library. The textbook had become Aisha's most treasured possession. Its pages were yellowed and brittle, and some of the text had faded with time, but Aisha didn't mind. She read the book over and over, tracing the words with her fingers, trying to mimic the sounds in her head. She practiced speaking in front of a cracked mirror in her small bedroom, whispering the words so her family wouldn't hear her mistakes. Despite her efforts, Aisha struggled with fear. The thought of speaking English in front of others terrified her. What if she made mistakes? What if people laughed at her? The fear of being ridiculed kept her silent, and she kept her dream hidden from everyone, even her closest friends. But Aisha's determination was strong. Every evening, after finishing her chores, she would retreat to her room and immerse herself in her studies. She would repeat the words she had learned during the day, write them out in a notebook, and try to use them in sentences. Slowly, she began to understand the basics of English grammar and vocabulary. However, her progress was slow, and without anyone to practice with, she often felt like she was walking in the dark, unsure of whether she was moving forward or not. One day, as Aisha sat by the village pond, watching the sun set over the hills, she overheard some of the older boys talking about a new teacher who had arrived in the village. The teacher, they said, was from the city and spoke fluent English. Aisha's heart skipped a beat. Could this be the opportunity she had been waiting for? The next morning, Aisha hurried to school, her heart pounding with excitement. She had never been so eager to attend class before. As she entered the small classroom, she noticed a tall, well-dressed man standing by the blackboard. He had a kind face and a warm smile. The students whispered among themselves, curious about the new teacher. "Good morning, everyone," the teacher said in perfect English. The classroom fell silent. The students, including Aisha, stared at him in awe. He repeated the greeting in their native language, encouraging them to respond. "Good morning, sir," the students echoed in a mixture of English and their native tongue. "My name is Mr. Kapor," the teacher continued. "I'm here to teach you English, and together, we're going to explore this beautiful language." Aisha felt a surge of excitement. Mr. Kapor spoke English with such ease, and he made it sound so natural, so attainable. For the first time, Aisha felt that her dream might actually come true. Over the next few weeks, Mr. Kapor's classes became the highlight of Aisha's days. He introduced the students to new words and phrases, taught them basic grammar, and encouraged them to practice speaking with each other. He made learning English fun and engaging, using songs, games, and stories to keep the students interested. Aisha was an eager student, absorbing every word Mr. Kapor said. But despite her enthusiasm, she still struggled with the fear of speaking in public. In class, she remained quiet, only answering questions when called upon, and even then, she spoke in a barely audible voice. Mr. Kapor noticed her hesitation but didn't push her. He knew that learning a new language was a journey, and everyone moved at their own pace. One day, Mr. Kapor announced that the school would be holding a small English-speaking competition. The students were to prepare a short speech or story in English and present it in front of the class. The announcement sent a wave of anxiety through Aisha. The mere thought of speaking English in front of her classmates made her feel sick with fear. How could she possibly stand in front of everyone and speak without making mistakes? That evening, Aisha sat in her room, staring at the blank page in her notebook. She knew she had to participate in the competition. Mr. Kapor had encouraged everyone to take part, but she didn't know where to start. The fear of failure loomed over her like a dark cloud, and she couldn't bring herself to write a single word. The next day, as she walked to school, Aisha's mind was filled with doubts. What if she made a fool of herself in front of everyone? What if she forgot her lines or pronounced the words incorrectly? She considered skipping school that day, but something inside her pushed her forward. When Aisha arrived at school, she found Mr. Kapor standing by the entrance. He greeted her with his usual warm smile. "Good morning, Aisha," he said in English. "Are you ready for the competition?" Aisha forced a smile and nodded, though inside she felt anything but ready. Mr. Kapor seemed to sense her nervousness. "Don't worry," he said gently. "Remember, this is just a small step in your journey." It's okay to make mistakes, that's how we learn. The important thing is to try. Aisha nodded again, but her heart was still heavy with fear. As she entered the classroom, she noticed that her classmates were buzzing with excitement. Some were practicing their speeches, while others were rehearsing with their friends. Aisha sat quietly at her desk, her notebook still blank. When the time came for the competition, Aisha's hands trembled as she watched her classmates present their speeches one by one. Some were confident, while others stumbled over their words, but everyone was encouraged by Mr. Kapor, who clapped and smiled after each presentation. Finally, it was Aisha's turn. She stood up slowly, her legs feeling like they were made of lead. As she walked to the front of the classroom, her heart pounded in her chest, and her mind went blank. She could feel her classmates' eyes on her, waiting for her to speak. For a moment, Aisha considered running out of the room, but then she remembered Mr. Kapor's words, "The important thing is to try." She took a deep breath and began to speak, her voice barely above a whisper. "My name is Aisha," she said, her words shaky and uncertain. I want to talk about. Her mind went blank again. Panic surged through her, and she felt tears welling up in her eyes. She wanted to disappear, to run away and never come back. But then, she glanced at Mr. Kapor, who was watching her with an encouraging smile. He gave her a small nod, as if to say, "You can do this." Aisha took another deep breath and forced herself to continue. "I want to talk about my dream," she said, her voice gaining a little more strength. "My dream is to speak English fluently. I know it's not easy, but I want to try." As she spoke, Aisha felt her fear slowly melting away. The words began to flow more naturally, and she no longer felt the crushing weight of her anxiety. She spoke about her love for the English language, how she had taught herself from the old textbook, and how Mr. Kapor's arrival had given her new hope. By the time she finished her speech, Aisha was surprised to find that she was no longer afraid. She had done it, she had spoken in front of the class, and she hadn't run away. The classroom erupted in applause, and Aisha felt a warm glow of pride in her chest. Mr. Kapor gave her a thumbs up, and her classmates smiled and nodded in approval. From that day on, something changed in Aisha. The fear that had once held her back no longer seemed so powerful. She began to participate more in class, answering questions, and even volunteering to read aloud. Her confidence grew with each passing day, and she found herself looking forward to English lessons with excitement rather than dread. But Aisha's journey was far from over. She knew that learning a language was a lifelong process, and there were still many challenges ahead. However, she had learned an important lesson: learning English wasn't just about memorizing words or mastering grammar. It was about believing in herself and having the courage to face her fears. As the months passed, Aisha's English skills improved significantly. She began to understand more of the English songs on the radio, and she could read the newspapers her father brought home without struggling. She even started helping her younger siblings with their English homework, patiently explaining the meanings of words and correcting their pronunciation. One day, Mr. Kapor announced that the school would be hosting a village-wide English festival. There would be performances, speeches, and competitions, and the entire village was invited to attend. Aisha was thrilled. This was her chance to showcase her progress and share her love for English with the community. In the weeks leading up to the festival, Aisha worked tirelessly to prepare. She decided to perform a short play in English, and she recruited a few of her classmates to join her. Together, they practiced every day after school, memorizing their lines and perfecting their delivery. Aisha took on the role of director, guiding her friends and helping them with their pronunciation. The day of the festival arrived, and the village square was buzzing with excitement. People from all over the village had gathered to watch the performances and support the students. Aisha felt a mixture of nerves and excitement as she waited for her turn to perform. When it was finally time for the play, Aisha and her friends took the stage. The square fell silent as they began to speak their lines in English. Aisha's heart raced, but she focused on the words she had practiced so many times. As the play unfolded, the audience began to smile and nod, clearly impressed by the students' efforts. When the play ended, the square erupted in applause. Aisha's heart swelled with pride as she looked out at the cheering crowd. She had done it, she had spoken English in front of the entire village, and she had done it well. After the festival, many villagers approached Aisha to congratulate her and her friends. Some of them even asked her to help them learn English, inspired by her determination and progress. Aisha was more than happy to help. She knew that teaching others would not only reinforce her own learning but also bring her closer to her dream. As the years passed, Aisha's love for English continued to grow. She studied hard, practiced every day, and sought out every opportunity to improve her skills. Eventually, she became fluent in English, able to speak, read, and write with ease. Her dream had come true, but she knew that it was only the beginning. English had opened up a world of opportunities for her, and she was eager to explore them all. Aisha's journey was not without its challenges, but she had learned that with determination, perseverance, and self-belief, anything was possible. She had overcome her fear, found her voice, and discovered the power of dreams. And in doing so, she had not only changed her own life, but also inspired those around her to pursue their own dreams. And so, in that small village nestled between the hills, Aisha's dream became a reality. Her story spread throughout the village, becoming a source of inspiration for others. The villagers began to see the value of learning English, and more children started attending Mr. Kapor's classes, eager to follow in Aisha's footsteps. Aisha's journey was far from over. She continued to study and improve her English, always seeking new challenges and opportunities. But she never forgot where she had started, from that small room in her family's humble home, with an old textbook and a heart full of dreams. In time, Aisha became a teacher herself, sharing her love for English with the next generation of students in her village. She taught them not just the language, but also the importance of believing in themselves, of facing their fears, and of never giving up on their dreams. And so, Aisha's dream lived on, not just in her own achievements, but in the dreams and aspirations of the countless students whose lives she touched. She had become a beacon of hope in her village, a symbol of what was possible when one dared to dream. Aisha's story was a testament to the power of education, the strength of determination, and the importance of self-belief. And as she stood in front of her students, guiding them through their own journeys, she knew that she had found her true calling, helping others realize their dreams, just as she had realized her own. The end of Aisha's journey was just the beginning of many more, and her story would continue to inspire and uplift those who dared to dream in that small village and beyond. Thanks for watching the video. We appreciate your support. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content.